Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so today we've got something a little bit different. So if you've been on YouTube at all over the past few years, I'm sure you would have seen these videos by 𝗺𝗲𝘁, these kind of odd one out videos where you've got a group of 7 people and all these people are claiming to be part of some kind of group, whatever that may be, but one person within this group of 7 people is a mole and isn't actually like part of this group, if you get what I mean. I'm not very good at explaining it, but in this situation it's 6 people with autism versus 1 fake, so someone that doesn't have autism pretending they do have autism, which already sounds not like a great idea. And I knew something like this was coming eventually. I was just waiting for 𝗺𝗲𝘁 to release this, but it's just the fact that already the title is 6 people with autism versus 1 fake, and if you've watched any interviews I've done or anything, I'd prefer if it said 6 autistic people rather than 6 people with autism, just because, it makes it sound like a condition that they've got rather than it being a neurotype. But anyway, yeah, so round by round, they've got to vote one person out until the remainder of the group is 100% sure the mole is no longer in the group. Hope I've explained that okay. We're just going to get straight into it. 𝗺𝗲𝘁 have released so many of these over the years, and I was just waiting for one to come with autistic people. So we're gonna try and narrow it down and see how we do.
I can't choose any of you guys to be the mole.
This is gonna be the hardest
even me
thing.
myself, it's like I think I'm the mole, honestly.
7 people together with autism. Here we go. See, they're all just normal people. It's what people don't understand. Yeah, there you go. One of them
talk
doesn't.
About our disabilities.
I prefer disorder.
Disorder, yeah.
See, already disability disorder, they're throwing all these words around. I feel like in America the progress they've made within the awareness and acceptance is quite far behind where we are over here in the UK. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think it's still very much seen as more of a medical condition out there than anything else, especially by the main population, which is even evident here. But it's fair enough, not everyone's gonna put hours of research into researching autistic people.
I was diagnosed in middle school, and then I transitioned to a school for people on the spectrum. Once I graduated middle school and went to that school, I kind of really enjoyed where I was at.
See, I believe this guy. This guy,
really
the fact that he's talking
so
straight
many
away.
Eyes on me already. It's just taken a while to accept that I have a disorder. There's people who I've met myself who say you have autism, and my family would be like, did you tell him you have did you tell him you have a disability? No, I don't think I need to. But reality, it really does help to know that I do have autism.
They first suspected me.
I do like how they're doing these little sit down interview bits away from the group, just because it kind of gives you more information and it spreads more education around, which is always a good thing, of course.
Of being autistic when I was 5, but they hesitated to diagnose me because I was too intelligent.
I mean, that's a compliment right there, being too intelligent.
I feel like in some ways it was a little bit of an insult.
I was diagnosed at the...
See, that's an interesting one, because a kind of a stereotype of autistic people is smarter than the average population. It's the kind of thing that's said quite a lot, even though there's no real link there really between being autistic and your intelligence. It's often an assumption that people make. So yeah, that's an interesting one from her. It is interesting when you think about this as well, because the one person that's faking, they're obviously going to have to be complying to the stereotypes of autistic people, and I'm not too sure how I feel about that personally. I'm not sure if it's the most helpful thing for progression. I'm not too sure how I feel about it, but we'll keep going.
The age of 2, I don't see it as a disorder or a disability.
I like him.
I don't see my autism as something that's negatively affected my life. Because I like who I am, I like the way I think, and I don't want to.
I like this guy. I believe him.
About myself.
I was diagnosed when I was 4 years old, and it's it's always been a difficult process for me.
Young.
Basically going up,
quite young.
Going to school and everything. Know that people don't perceive me as this normal guy. So I figure if I'm going to be this autistic person, I might as well be the best autistic person that I can be. I always
Preach!
Yeah. I always try my best to excel in school. I always tend to be like one of the smartest kid in school. That's a whole stereotype.
I would consider myself
there you
a
go.
late
He knows the
bloomer. I was
stereotypes.
diagnosed at the age of 22. I went most of my life always knowing that there's something different about me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. The reason why I only got diagnosed this year was because I recently moved to a large metropolitan area that has many resources, and so that was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, because I have access to
It is interesting how
therapy,
different the culture is
I was finally able to get
what
an
it's like
answer
over
that
here.
I was always looking for. I really, really struggled to fit in. I really struggled to be able to come up with the right words to get other kids to want to talk to me. I stood out pretty badly, and that continued throughout my entire time in grade school.
So when I was in university, they make us do the...
Okay, just to add on to what she said, not about the whole depressing thing, but the whole, you know, feeling, going through school and feeling, you know, like you're not part of anyone else. I talked about it quite a lot in my talk, and you can go and watch that if you want to. You know, it's all over my channel. I'll probably leave a link to it wherever it ends up being, that side, I think, maybe. But yeah, it's something I spoke about a lot. The fact that you feel like you've got a mask to fit in, and you've got to be someone that you're not. So far, I literally don't have a clue who it is.
These psychological studies, because I was studying psychology, and they have different things you can apply for. And I noticed one of them was they were studying autism in women, specifically like people who are older. So I applied, and that was how I got my diagnosis, which was like, I was 21
That's quite cool.
Then. My wife and like one of my friends are actually the only people that know I've been diagnosed. So surprise, family or friends, anyone who's...
I've got a feeling that they've thrown her in there because she doesn't visibly display any of the stereotypes of autistic people. So I think they've thrown her in there to be like, oh, we'll throw her in, they'll throw them off, they'll think she's not autistic, and, you know, they'll get it wrong. But I have a feeling she's definitely one of the autistic ones. I feel like Jubilee are trying to trick us.
I was diagnosed with when I was a child, but I didn't know I was autistic because, I mean, as a 2, 3, 4-year-old, I mean, I don't know how one even knows what it's supposed to be up with them. So it's definitely hard to speak in a group situation, because I can never tell the rules of like how to, like when to talk and when to speak up.
I can relate to that.
It's kind of like just jumping in like right when you're kind of feeling like it.
Can I ask you guys a questions about like what are stimulants? Like, do you guys like chew gum, or do you guys like have anything that you guys do specifically to like keep you guys calm?
Stimulation, short word for it is stimming. It's something autistic people do a lot. I am going to make a video about it within the next few weeks, just because it's been on my list of ideas for ages, and I feel like a lot of people don't really understand what it is. Once again, I kind of spoke about it a little bit in my talk, but I can't remember if that part got cut out or not. But yeah, I'm sure they'll explain a little bit about stimming here.
More keep you guys. Go ahead, Amanda.
The color pink.
The color pink. Okay.
That's my favorite color in the whole world. My whole room is pink. At home, my bed is pink, my bedspread is pink, and my pillows are pink, and my rug is pink, and my carpet is pink. I even have a framed pink picture of mine, and most of my clothes are pink. I love
Fair
pink.
enough.
It's the best color in the whole world.
Okay. I've never heard.
I love blue too.
I know how she feels. I mean, I don't have much purple in my room, but a lot of my clothes are purple, so, you know, fair enough. I'll allow it.
Blue too, but pink is better.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it's subjective.
How do you guys feel about the term high functioning?
I don't like that term
I didn't
at
really
all.
think about it too much.
I don't think I think about
Right.
it.
Do I go into? Yeah, I'll go into this. So, right, yeah, the term high functioning is very, very outdated now. I'm just trying to think of the best way to describe it without having to go on for 10 minutes. Pretty much what it whittles down to is high functioning is you don't show many visible traits or stereotypes of autistic people, and then low functioning is you do show more of those traits, and then it becomes linked to how much you can function. I just don't think that makes sense. It's incredibly outdated. I'll go into it more in the future, but this is just giving me loads of video ideas right here.
My dad is an undiagnosed autistic. Sorry, Dad.
Go ahead.
Do you ever like wake up and feel like you're not autistic?
Do you know what she said about her dad is very interesting, because you do start recognizing these things within other people where you're kind of like, I think you might be autistic, but then you don't want to say it. But, you know, you just recognize certain things, especially the more you learn about, you know, the more you learn about autistic people, the more you start to recognize little things in other people. It's actually really interesting. And actually, I've just seen that this video is only 7 minutes long. I didn't even notice. So are they just going to vote someone out and end it there, or? This is interesting. Or maybe they are all autistic. I didn't even think about this.
Don't have experience with others who have autism. They expect it to stand out, and that's not always the case.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Just the visible traits more than anything.
humans.
I think you can blame that partly on, you know, the media, how they portray us.
We don't really have good representation.
Yeah, a huge part of it is society's how society presents autistic people throughout the media. They're not going to talk about just an autistic person that doesn't seem any different from a neurotypical person, because what's so interesting about that? But then when there's an autistic person having a meltdown or an autistic person doing this or that, that's what's portrayed in the media. That's what leads to society's overall opinion and perspective on autistic people.
No, we don't.
What that movie with Dustin Hoffman now, Rain Man, you know, yeah, where
there we go. Yeah, Rain
where
Man.
you know you being on the spectrum automatically mean you're good at gambling. I wish I was good at gambling or something.
None of them have the same experiences that I do.
Interesting.
There's no way to have pinpointed, oh, this person is more quiet, this person is more socially awkward. There's no way to tell who was autistic or not.
I have a feel that they all are autistic. I'm happy they've taken this whole voting out aspect out of it and just left it to revealing if there's a mold. Just because, imagine if you're the autistic person in that circle or in that box, and you've got people pointing at you saying you're not autistic, you're not autistic. It's just not very nice, is it? But yeah, I have a feeling that none of them are actually neurotypical.
On the count of 3, will the mole please raise their hand?
And if there is actually a mold, it's going to be
1,
really interesting.
2, 3.
Oh, whoa. Fair enough.
Seen that coming. I totally didn't see that coming.
I was shook.
I was like, no, it
Interesting.
cannot be her. It can't be her.
I never would have.
The thing is, she didn't even talk that much. So there wasn't much to go off of. Whether or not they cut bits out or whatever, I'm not sure. But she's not done anything to make me dislike her for showing autistic stereotypes and giving autistic people a bad look. So, you know, it's fine. That's an interesting decision.
Yes.
I actually didn't lie about anything. I just flipped out autism with FASD, and it stands for fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. I was exposed.
A group of conditions that occur in a person who is exposed to alcohol before. Interesting. See, I never even knew that was a thing. So I'm learning stuff as well. This is great.
To alcohol when I was inside my mom in the womb for the first 5 months, and you can kind of think of FASD as a spectrum just like ASD.
Even though she might not have been autistic, there are a lot of overlaps between autism and many other neurological disabilities.
FASD is never talked about. I've never met a single person who shares that diagnosis with me.
That's mad, because I've literally never heard of that before, and I'm sure most people who are watching haven't heard of that either. And if they have, it's, you know, a very small amount of people. That's interesting that kind of stuff isn't represented as much throughout society. And it's also cool to hear like the overlaps and that kind of thing of traits for different neurotypes and that stuff.
What differences do you see between people with autism versus?
I actually see a ton of similarities. And I wouldn't want to, discredit anybody else's experience, but autism does run in my family very heavily. My dad has autism, I have a sister that has autism, and I have quite a few cousins who have autism.
So she knows what she's talking about.
And I also have quite a few friends who have autism.
Damn, we're not your first.
The autism community accepts you.
I love you guys.
Getting a diagnosis can be
I knew she was though.
whirlwind of emotions.
And I knew they all were.
As long as you stay true to yourself, I promise everything's gonna end up okay.
But yeah, overall, actually a pretty decent video. I feel like it's quite good for the autistic community now. I watched it as well, just because it very much gets a lot of information out there that most people wouldn't have known. I mean, this video's got 1.2 million views, and that's 1.2 million people that potentially didn't know a whole lot of this stuff before. So yeah, you know what? I'm happy with that. A lot happier than I thought I would be. So fair play, Jubilee. I like that they took the whole voting aspect out of it. And I hope to see more representation of autistic people going forward. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely more autistic-centered content coming soon. You know, it's been slacking with the boxing stuff, but going to be working on it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so you never miss an upload. I'll see you in the next one.